All right, everyone. So we're reading an article here from eWrestling News. They're citing the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and basically, this is an article talking about the new faces of the WWE and who is being pushed as that. So, according to the report, WWE is actively grooming Rhea Ripley, Jacob Fatu, and Braun Breaker to eventually step into the spotlight alongside and eventually replace today's marquee names. Ripley is seen as the clear long-term face of the women's division. Breaker's recent on-screen pairing with Paul Heyman is designed to help ease the second-generation star into more extended promo work. Notably, Breaker has reportedly been a personal project of Heyman for quite some time. Jacob Fatu, meanwhile, is set for a major showdown at WWE SummerSlam 2025, where he'll face Solo in a steel cage match for the United States Championship. Ripley is scheduled to compete in a high-stakes triple threat match for the women's world title against newly crowned champion Naomi and former title holder Io Sky. Okay, so look, I'm not shocked by this article. The only thing that was a little bit weird to me is like Rhea Ripley is kind of already there. I mean, she's the face of the women's division. There are a lot of really talented female wrestlers, and so I guess it's maybe there's not like as clear cut of a Cody Rhodes or a Roman Reigns on the women's side because you kind of just have this mix of really talented superstars. But Rhea Ripley, I think if you ask people, they'd be like, yeah, probably her, right? I think Liv Morgan is another one who when she comes back from injury, I think it's going to be a rocket ship because she's probably on a baby face, ascension, and so I think that could certainly play a big part. But I like this for WWE. I really do. I think these are three stars who would have the potential to be those big names. I think Jacob Fatu, the story they're telling with him has been, basically perfect in a lot of ways. Um, because they were able to get him to be a babyface, which I don't even know if that was their plan. I think maybe he was supposed to be a heel, but the fans ended up loving him, and they were able to get him to where he is without ever having to make him do anything like a babyface. He's hasn't really he's just kind of been his character. It's kind of that anti-hero type deal. It's kind of out of the vein of Austin and Undertaker, things like that, where the guy's he's not really your traditional babyface, but the fans love him, and I think that's what we're seeing a lot of from Jacob Fatu. So that's great. Braun Breaker, I think he kind of has a similar vibe where fans love him just because he's kind of a badass. And I think with Paul Heyman and that faction, the sky is the limit. And then Rhea Ripley, I really think she's already there. I don't know if I think she's just about continuing to do what she's doing because you just see the reaction when she comes out. Even when she shows up, people get louder. Very simple. It's not a tough metric to know that she's on top of the women's division right now, even without a championship. I know she's in title matches, but she doesn't have the championship at this point. And I just think the company has to understand that, you could build up these three, but it's crucial that the undercard is big, right? It's crucial. You go back to the Attitude Era, as good as someone like Austin was, the beauty of the Attitude Era was the depth of the roster and the way these people are used. And it's no different now, right? You need to have that depth. You need to have enough people that these stars, if you build them, can face and those things matter. Those stories matter. And I think so far they're doing a great job of that, but they got to continue to do that, and you got to be very careful with, even like someone like Bailey, right? I think they have to make sure that you don't let a character like Bailey kind of not be as impactful as she's been in the past. And, characters go, they ebb and they flow, and they ebb and they flow with popularity. I get that. But Bailey was one of the biggest names not too long ago. And now you're kind of keeping her off some of these shows because she's just not quite making the cut on some of these things. And that rubs off on the fans, right? The fans sense that. The fans stop getting as excited. So we need that to be changed. So Rhea Ripley, right, can be facing someone like Bailey down the line in those things. So put in the comment section if you agree with WWE's decision here. Who else do you think they should put in the mix? And thank you all for watching.